We know they're losing the battle, or at least the argument, on abortion access. After that, the Roe decision, the anti-Roe decision was leaked, they've been trying to scramble to find a way to make sure this is all covered up, or maybe we don't talk about as much. I think they've begun to embrace it and just try to find different scapegoats. Let's jump to graphic 5 here, you guys, because now this newest scapegoat is an easy one because they've already conditioned their people to believe certain things. This is where they've gone to make people think that these types of access is dangerous for everyone. Republican extremists seem to have to invent conspiracy theories to trick Americans into voting for them. It's because they don't have a policy. That's the major takeaway from recent political battles in Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin. In all those states, abortion-related ballot initiatives and elections were framed by right-wing groups as the only thing standing between parents and, quote, trans ideology in the classroom. See if you can find some way to connect these types of things. Trans ideology in the classroom, back to that whole thing, because they've captured up people's brains. Here's some examples. In Ohio, political ads intoned that malicious entities from out of state were arriving to encourage sex changes for kids. Specifically in Wisconsin, Republicans distributed a video that claimed a child was transitioned into a boy by school officials without parental consent. Tell me how that works. And in Michigan, millions of dollars went into ads that warned minors as young as 10 or 11 could be sterilized without their parents even knowing. It's the reason why people start believing all this stuff, because then there's this whole cultish behavior. My guy that I like said this, so therefore it must be true. Here's a Wisconsin judge and his attack ad trying to prove this point that's not really a point.
In Wales, Wisconsin, an innocent 12-year-old girl was transitioned into a boy by school officials without parental consent. When her parents found out, the school refused to stop. This is insanity, and Janet Protasiewicz supports it. On April 4th, the balance of Wisconsin's Supreme Court will determine if parents still have rights. Don't leave your children in the hands of Janet Protasiewicz. Vote for Justice Daniel Kelly. Your family depends on it.
Your family depends on it. They're hitting those points. And during that campaign, Wisconsin voters got texts from anti-Protasiewicz, that one particular woman they're going after, campaigners, many with links to the American Principles Project ads. Some texts say that the candidate and her woke allies want to trans our children without notifying parents. And other texts refer to the trans madness that would overtake Wisconsin's children if conservative judicial candidate Daniel Kelly didn't win the race. This is what they're afraid of. This is what they're pushing for people to be afraid of. Again, not the cost of going to the doctor, not the cost of avoiding going to the doctor, because then those health risks that come up, or even your kids getting shot up in schools. Who cares about that stuff? They're coming for your kids and they're gonna trans them, whatever the hell that means. You got last thoughts?
You know what's funny is that they're so worried about them being trans, but they're not worried about them being trafficked. You know, like it's that we have such a big problem, much bigger fish to fry than to be minding other people's business. The preoccupation with people in this country with sex, identity, gender, it is an illness. It is a complete illness. Parents have to parent their children, right? That's what they're saying. The stuff is ridiculous. The ads look like sketches. Nobody takes this seriously who has any working brain cells. It is indicative of how poor the education system is in this country. I feel sorry for Americans. These people are playing games. Go follow them and see how they live compared to how you live. You admire these people so much who supposedly care about you. Go watch their big houses, how their kids go to these great schools, and you're struggling. They have health care, they can go to the doctor, and you are believing everything that they're saying. Shame on you. You need to be mindful of who you're following.
If we eliminate the R's and the D's next to politicians' names, and people have to actually listen to what they say without really knowing whether or not, I guess they were on their side. You talked about what some of these folks' kids actually experience versus what they're having other folks see or defund and they have to deal with. I remember the shooting. Again, I was talking about kids getting shot in school out in Tennessee, and that senator out there, I believe was no representative out there, was asked about it, and he said, "Well, we homeschool our daughters, so we don't have to worry about those things." Right after he said, we're gonna do nothing about these school shootings, blatantly and openly. That should be disqualifying. Everybody who supports him should have said, wow, this guy wants nothing to do with me or my children's lives. They actually don't care. And when asked about his own, he said the moat is around the house and the bridge is up, bro. You ain't getting in here. Damn shame.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.